And we are here for and upstream. And this year, what we're focusing on is what we focused on in the beginning of the year was this book called Leadership for an Age of Higher Consciousness. We kind of did lessons on it during the first couple of weeks, and then last year and this year we've had a leadership project. Last year we did a children's festival for Gorpurnima, in which we invited all the children and youth of the Islam temple, of our temple, and had them come and learn about Mahaprabhu, watch a puppet show, and enjoy a TED Talks, and had a wonderful Prashadam feast as well. And this year we're also reading this book, and this year our project is the Sunday feast. So we did everything from assigning singers, singing the artis, doing Dosi Arti and Prabhupada Arti. We made the feast today, and just put a lot of work into this festival. So and their wonderful lordships, but we also appreciate if you all enjoy it. So thank you. And this youth group is something that empowers us to learn how to combine leadership and bhakti, because honestly, sometimes they can become two different paths. So we learn how to gain bhakti principles and leadership principles at the same time. Next slide.
So, as you would have noticed, we have been having this extra thing called intentions, where it's the little blurb you hear right before the arti, which tells you what mood to have, or just a little bit about what was their experience, just listening to those intentions, just that little extra we added.
Does anyone want to start? We just like to have a couple of volunteers. Okay, so I'll do it myself. We actually had to do a lot of digging to find out why we do what and what we exactly were doing. So, for example, Nrsimha Arti. The intention helped me connect to Nrsimha Dev and how I should pray to him, because we know that sometimes we can become scared and would like some type of protection in our lives. And after finding out that some of the ISKCON temples were attacked in the beginning, and hearing that Prabhupada had asked all of us to pray to Nrsimha Dev, it just gave me another layer of trust and like another reason to plead to Nrsimha Dev to protect me.
Okay, does anybody want to else? Okay.
Can you please pass it back?
His intentions kind of made me feel like if we went through them, we would feel like how he felt.
One more share. Was there anyone in the back who raised their hand? Okay, we can bring the mic back up.
I have the mic. I have one thing to say. You guys did everything. You guys did wash the dishes. So after.
Sorry about that. We can pass the mic back up now. So, is there anyone visiting for the first time? Hello? Everyone's been here before? Anyways, so on this slide I actually want to talk about our welcome table. So a team in our leadership sanga group put together the beautiful welcome table you see outside. We also handmade, designed these online, a brochure and bookmark. And we have made enough so that there's one for each family. So if you haven't stopped by, it's not just for new people since everyone's been here, please pick one up and take it home. It's a little...
It's been designed by our own youth. Our marketing team has put a lot of effort in designing these.
It's a little bit please make sure you put it in.
So we would just do a little bit different for the sponsors. I would read all the names first, and then we can have everybody come up together, and we'll give the garlands and the little token of appreciation at once. So for the fees sponsors, we have K.O. Prabhu and Kinjal Mataji. Mataji. Sandamni Mataji. For Srinath's birthday. Jamuna Govind for Araz's Kulani's birthday. Arjun Prabhu and Priyadarshini sponsored the cheesecake. I would like everybody from the family to come up so we can complete this dish.
Is there anyone else? Everyone who's sponsored get a little garland and gift. Okay, next slide. So we actually have no Sunday's flower sponsor. So these beautiful garlands that you see, if you'd like to donate for them, please do let Shamka know. Next slide.
Okay, dear Gornatai, we have Tritrana for their birthday and Srinath again for his birthday. And
Is Spirit's family here? Or there? Anybody from music class? Sorry.
his family.
Okay, we'll give it to him later. Next slide. So our upcoming festival, as you all know, is Ram Navami, which is on Tuesday, April 16th. And on this slide, we'd like to mention a little bit about what you see here. This is a little wall of birthday wishes, which has been designed by our decorating team. And on it, we'd like if everyone could write a little note wishing Lord Ram his a happy appearance day. So you can write a little poem, a note, just happy birthday if you'd like to do that. And please pin it up on this wall, which will be offered finally on the day of Ram Navami.
Also, there's also going to be aluminum foils passed around. You can ask the management also for them, for our Harshita Mataji for the aluminum. You can offer any of the dry bhoga to them, and you can have them at 14th or the 16th to offer them to the around the day. Also, on the 16th, you would also get to offer ghee lamps to the lordships and experience bliss of offering the ghee lamps. Perform the arti with the beautiful brass lamps we have.
Next slide. Another festival we have is Spiritual Solutions to Material Problems, which is a little 2-day talk that History's Radhika Rama Prabhu will be giving on Friday, April 19th in the evening after work, and Saturday, April 20th also in the evening. So please be sure to come in. On Saturday, June 29th, we are having our third ISKCON Persephone Rath Yatra. So please do come in to join us. If you want more information, you can also talk to management about that. We really hope to see you there. And the last thing we're going to do is our prayer that we do every week. So this is in order to pray to their lordships to wish for the speedy recovery speedy building of the temple.
The new temple's feeling a little under the weather.
So let's say this prayer all together. Is everyone ready?
Yes.
Our dear Lord Krishna, kindly give us your causeless mercy. And allow us to become instruments in the service of Shiva Prabhupada. Let us follow in his footsteps to grow the movement and build this new temple in your service. Shiva Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so now we are moving on to the next part of our program, which is a discussion talk that will be given by Sham, Mishki, and Srinath. not be on your phones when we don't ask you to be on your phones. Use your phones when they tell you to be on your phones because you're going to lose your phones. And to discuss and participate because it's an open conversation that we'll all be having together. I can't reveal anything else because we'll be going into that, but that's our next program. Haribol!
Hare Krishna, everyone. Can we get a round of applause for our announcers? Hare Krishna, and welcome to the Soul Sync program lecture portion. But actually, instead of a lecture today, it's going to be an interactive discussion. So what that means is we're going to need everybody to participate, and please, I humbly request that you keep your attention here, and maybe if you, not you, we might learn something from this. So please, 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 I humbly request everyone's attention, and thank you so much for all your support so far. So let's start with some prayers.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribol. We just wanted to start off with these prayers to pay respects to our gurus, our teachers, and all the fellow devotees present here today who all help us in Krishna consciousness every single day. Thank you all for participating. Let's go start our discussion now. We have a verse from Prabhupada.
Please repeat after me. Ananyas chintayanto mam.
Ananyas chintayanto mam.
Ye jana pariyupasate.
Ye jana pariyupasate.
Tesham nitya abhiktanam.
Tesham nitya abhiktanam.
Yogesham
Yogesham nahamyaham.
The translation is, but those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. And the first part of this purport is actually what really resonated with us, so that's going to be the center focus for today's discussion.
The purport states, one who is unable to live for a moment without Krishna consciousness cannot but think of Krishna 24 hours a day, being engaged in devotional service by hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, worshiping, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, rendering other services, cultivating a friendship, and fully surrendering to the Lord.
This verse There we go. This verse emphasizes the compassion of the Lord and how we can always, if we surrender our sin, we can always receive His protection, love, and mercy. However, this verse also highlights the process of achieving Krishna's love and mercy, and how Krishna truly gives His devotees every possible opportunity to surrender unto Him and also to reciprocate His love. Now, one part of this verse highlights a certain section, and that is, if a person is Krishna conscious, that means that they think of Krishna 24 hours a day.
Yet we all have busy lives with work, school, and family responsibilities. So how is it truly possible to think of Krishna 24 hours a day? Okay, so this is an interactive portion, so please request you to utilize your phone. You can scan the QR code or go to slido.com and put in the code on the screen. Once you're on the website, if you can go to the poll section, you'll be able to access the question. Please help your neighbor if they're struggling with this.
Just remember, everybody, please go to the poll section of the website once you scan the QR code, because that's where you'll see our next question.
Is everyone able to get out?
Can everybody get it?
Okay, you should be able to see the question.
Please be respectful with your answers and just realize that we are given this opportunity to use this kind of technology, so let's use that usefully and in an appropriate manner.
So, is everyone able to see the question if they hit poll on the screen?
If anyone has any problems, we can help out.
Okay, so we want to give you a couple minutes to work on this and come up with some thoughts. So please take your time and do that.
So please take a few moments, give the time is up, so let's go to the question.
Okay, so we're just going to read out some of the answers that we get. We have to think of Lord Krishna in our heart always.
Yeah, that is the essence of Paramatma.
It is about making him the goal of every do, be it cooking, cleaning, studying, or
Yes, dovetailing your word towards Krishna is how you build that true trust and conviction in Krishna.
We try to Christianize everything. I like that. That's a new word, and I like that word. We can mentally think of Krishna and always have him in the back of our mind. That's a good answer, too.
I'm not sure if this is possible.
That's true. That's good. No, I don't think so. Thank you for being honest with that, because that's also a very valid answer.
Putting Krishna in everything close and near you, such as a car or your books.
That's true, too.
Maybe another couple
30 seconds.
seconds to finish up your thoughts.
Yes, if you're truly devoted to Krishna and you can see him in your eyes every second of the day, like my mom, you can think about Lord Krishna 24 hours a day. I'm sure she feels very touched by that comment.
Focus on how truly every single second of the day you think of Krishna. Not just in your cars or maybe in the books, but every single day. We're not in our cars 24/7, unfortunately. If we were, then yes, I think of Krishna that way. But every single second, how can you think of Krishna?
It is not possible to think of Krishna in our minds 24/7, so maybe we can keep him in our hearts and be
Okay, so we'll move on to the discussion.
These are all wonderful, wonderful, wonderful responses. And thank you for being so honest with this. And out of the many possible ways to be thinking of Krishna 24/7, one way to be exclusively devoted is friendship with the Lord. And that's actually what we're going to be focusing on today.
Before we go into detail, generally in one word, what does friendship mean to you? What do you think is an integral aspect of friendship? Again, we're going to use the interactive software. Yep, I already see some responses coming in. Trust, yes.
That's a good one.
service and reciprocation of love.
Absolutely.
I like it. Accountability. That's nice one.
Bonds.
That's true. Friendship is always about
Honesty. Love is important.
Trust is seeming to be a really big one amongst this group.
I see it unconditional as well. It's not just like we were talking about later on.
I appreciate all of you guys putting your dots, so we will continue on.
Being there in the hardest of times. Okay, so with all these responses, they're all very true, but we came up with our own response. True definition of friendship in our eyes. A true friend is a steady companion who offers support, is a safe place where vulnerability and authenticity is accepted, a constant presence by your side through the twists and turns of life.
So if this is what friendship means to us, how can we build a relationship like this to Krishna, towards Krishna? So we actually have some personal stories that we don't really share, and it just relates to how Krishna has always been our friend in different ways.
So I'll start with my personal story. My story actually starts with me making garlands for deities. And while I was doing this, I noticed one garland was a little longer and a little prettier in my heart at least. So I just said, this garland is for Radharani. And actually the Mataji that I was making garlands with said, no, the longer one usually goes to Krishna. So I was like, okay. And we ended up keeping the garlands separate. So Krishna's garlands were on one side and Radharani's garlands were on the other side. No confusion. That's what we were trying to hope for. Sorry. And when I saw this, I just remember telling my mom, I wish that I had more flowers so I can make Radharani a prettier garland too. But I accepted it and moved on. The next day, when the garlands are being put on the deities after the Abhishek ceremony, without a doubt, Krishna made sure to make the moment chaotic enough that despite all of our preparations and everything, Radharani got the longer and prettier garland.
Viva!
That's how I felt too. That's exactly how I felt. I felt that wave of happiness, mostly because of course the garland was a desire of mine, and that made me happy to see that desire be fulfilled. But also Krishna had just created such a special plan for such a small desire that I had. And that meant so much to me, because that meant I can trust Krishna with these small desires as well. It's not always those big obstacles that we have to think of Krishna. And truthfully, if we start training ourselves by thinking of Krishna in these small moments and treating him like a friend and telling him everything, all those small desires, then only will we be able to think of him first in those big moments and big obstacles in our lives. We have to build up to that moment. We don't just get to that big obstacle and we're like, Krishna. It doesn't work like that. You start small and that's how you go. So for me, this moment was Krishna just saying, I'm your friend, I listen to all your desires, including the small ones. And that meant the world to me in that moment. And actually, this reminds me that in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that he's actually the light of the sun and moon. And of all the trees, he is the people tree. In fact, he is the silence of secrets and even the beautiful, beautiful fragrance of earth and even the heat and fire. All this means is that Krishna is omnipresent. He is present everywhere at every moment, listening, protecting, and even supporting his devotees. So what do we have to do? Just trust and have faith in Krishna, because he will be there for us in the big moments, in the small moments, all moments alike. And that's how Krishna was there for me as well.
I can absolutely relate to everything that Rishi just said. I've got two pictures up here. On the left-hand side is wrestling practice. That's what we're talking about right now. I want to ask a question to everyone first. Have you guys ever played a sport? Raise your hand yourself. Okay, so practically everyone here. That's good. Good to know. On our right side, we have Krishna and Balaram. They're actually slaying the demons, their uncle's demons. So that's actually what I wanted to talk about. As a high schooler, so I'm in college right now. When I was in high school, I was very fascinated by the sport of wrestling. As I grew up hearing about Krishna and Balaram and the other coward boys, and then play fighting, and then also wrestling. Obviously, Krishna goes to kill his uncle in the wrestling ring. And just as a young boy, I was just like, wow, this is a very interesting sport. So as a freshman, I joined wrestling, and it was a very interesting experience, let's say that. It was very, very hard endurance, physical training, mental training, and honestly, at some moments, I felt very tired and exhausted. And you know how when you're feeling very tired, you just want to like call your friend and just say, hey, how are you? Like, I just need some help, I need some support. So I'm going to share one instance where I needed that support from my best friend right here. This was after a wrestling practice one day. We did about a 3-mile run, and we came back to the wrestling room. Everyone's drenched in sweat, and the coach tells us everyone has to go in a circle and then line up together, and you basically have to all train together. And if one person stops training, the entire team has to restart this entire process all over again. So me as a freshman, I'm a new person here. I don't want to leave. I was like, I need to stay here, but I'm feeling so tired. I just want to go home. I want to go sleep. I want to go eat some prasadam at the temple. I just need to go do something else. So in that moment, I decided that I wanted to give a little bit of a prayer to the Lord. So I prayed to the Lord and I said, please give me energy, endurance, strength, and I guess utmost willpower. And the Lord answered. The Lord answered. In the next 2 to 3 minutes, when I had to basically train with all my partners in the circle, the Lord was helping me in each moment. All I could think of for those 2 to 3 minutes was the Lord's name, in specific Ram's name. So I was just chanting Ram, 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 Ram each moment of that practice, and it managed to get me through. And in fact, our entire team did a pretty good job that day. Our coach was very happy. So always thanks to the Lord, especially to the Lord Ram for helping me in that moment. And one thing I want to highlight is that the Lord always reciprocates. Anytime, any moment, even in something as such menial and small as a wrestling practice. That's very material, right? I mean, it's a wrestling. The reason we wrestle is we want to basically help build our body and also win the matches. But the Lord still helped me even through a material service as well. So I wanted to basically tell everyone over here that the Lord always helps at any moment, any time, and He always reciprocates.
Hare Krishna, everybody. So my story is about how Krishna showed up as a friend and supported me through a hard time. Early this year, my grandmother was battling a cancerous tumor, and through this experience, it was a hard time for my family, and it was stressful and sad and emotional. And I remember one specific moment that Krishna really helped me through this was in the waiting room, once we had already said goodbye to her from her surgery and sent all of our good luck and all of our love. I was sitting there, and I had my homework next to me, ready to just tackle the mounds of work that I had from missing school. And I sat there, and you know what I did? No homework whatsoever. I sat there for the 2 hours, and I did something that I hadn't done in a long time. I chanted. I wasn't with the bead bag, I wasn't cross-legged in front of the deities. I was in a cold waiting room chair for 2 hours, chanting my head until I almost fell asleep. Krishna in that moment felt like a friend, having his hand on my shoulder, letting me talk to him and share my fears, share my sadness, share my anger. And through this chanting, I feel like I wouldn't have been able to go through that moment and been as supportive to my family as I would have if I didn't chant. A story that I wanted to highlight through this moment was Gajendra. In short, Gajendra was a devotee of Krishna who was stuck in the jaws of an alligator, and for days and days on end, he wasn't able to get out. Finally, he surrendered to Krishna and asked him to take control and be helped as a friend. In both of the stories, Krishna showed up as a friend to lend a helping hand through a dark time. I believe that if you really, really need it, and if you just surrender control, Krishna will always be there to help, having a hand on your shoulder as a friend.
My story is a little different in the sense that I came to appreciate Krishna's friendship through a great devotee. That devotee is her Grace Mother Krishna Devadasi. Having grown up in Cleveland, I firsthand witnessed her grace and her she was just so she was able to shed light on a variety of matters that really influenced me. And I firmly believe that she showed me that Krishna always comes to his devotees through other great devotees. And I think a great example of that is through her experiences. During her early stages of bhakti, Mother Krishnanandini and her mother Bhumati Devi Dasi were put in prison simply on the basis of their race and gender. This discrimination prompted them to reach out to Srila Prabhupada. They have been exchanging letters for quite a while now, and they asked Prabhupada about this matter of racial discrimination. Prabhupada responded saying, if one discriminates you on the basis of race or gender, it shows their level of consciousness. And if you believe them or succumb to it, it shows your level of consciousness. I believe this is exactly what she needed at this time. She needed the strength, and I believe Krishna enabled Prabhupada to instill this in her. This is how Mother Krishnanandini solely focused on Krishna. Krishna is referred to as Sujidam Sarvabhutanam, the eternal, selfless friend. And this is how she became a true spiritual warrior, by overcoming all the obstacles that were played against her. Another way Mother Krishnanandini helped me realize the friendship that Krishna has with you is through her unwavering conviction with Krishna while dealing with cancer. After 40 years of devoting her life to Krishna, she never asked, why me? Why would you inflict this upon me? Never. She always asked, Krishna, what are you trying to convey to me? What are you trying to show me? And I think this strong conviction helped me personally in my move to New Jersey. I was very distressed and anxious. I didn't know what to expect in my spiritual journey. But Mother Krishnanandini's voice came. I knew that Krishna had a better plan for me, and was always trying to convey something to me every day. So in these hard times, I was able to retrospect, and I believe the best thing that could have ever happened to me is moving to New Jersey. I was able to connect with the beautiful temple community with such great devotees, and I could learn with kids my age about the blessings of Sri Krishna and how to please him more. So as I continue to build and develop my friendship with Krishna, I see Mother Krishnanandini as this guiding light.
So, looking at our 4 personal stories, we came up with 4 unique ways that we believe you can see Krishna's friendship and the beauty of that. So, the first way is trusting Krishna even for the small moments in our lives. Because Krishna resides in our heart in Paramatma form, right? So that means that he's hearing all of our inner desires, and he might even hear desires we might not even know we have just yet. But he hears them and he fulfills them if he thinks that's best for us. And so Krishna's pretty much just going to come in any form and shape to support you in any way possible. So we have to think of him in the little moments, so that way we can think of him in the big moments when we're distraught or when we're lost as well. Because again, it's stepping stones. So you start with the little moments, like my garland story, where you started with thinking of Krishna for a small, innocent desire of putting a prettier garland on Radharani. And then you can get to the big moments where you can think of him first.
The second, I guess, way that we wanted to build friendship with Krishna, that I guess my wrestling story highlighted was that Krishna reciprocates anywhere, anytime, everywhere, and I guess it's just no matter what you're doing. Even though I was in wrestling practice, all I was doing was just throwing people's bodies around and moving around. But I'm still thinking of Krishna then too, and that's possible at any moment. It doesn't matter where you are. All that matters is that you're always thinking of the Lord in any sense.
Krishna also restores faith and gives support. In hard times, either unconsciously or consciously, sometimes us devotees push away our spiritual connections or our spiritual communities just to isolate ourselves. But in the truth, Krishna is there to help us and give us support. Even if we don't know what we need in that moment, Krishna always knows what we need. So the real lesson is to listen to Krishna and let him support you during hard times rather than pushing him away.
I think there are two ways to build this friendship with Krishna based on the story that I presented. One of them is connecting with other devotees, sharing your experiences with them, and allowing their experiences to penetrate your heart and help you in hard times. I think this is what Mother Krishna Dini did while approaching his divine grace Srimad Bhagavatam. Secondly, I think a big part of friendship is trust, and we've asserted that through our work now. But having the trust that Krishna is always there and that always has a better plan for you in the hard moments is vital for building this friendship with Krishna. And I think this process of giving this lecture and preparing for this lecture has really helped me appreciate this.
Okay, now that we've all shared our personal stories, we would love to hear from the audience. I would like you guys to think of one moment where Krishna showed up as a friend in your life, whether it be in hard times, in a small moment, or even just guiding you. So I would like you all to take one moment to either write down on your phone or think about it, and think of one time that Krishna really showed up as a friend in their life.
With that good alarm that we just had, we'll use that. So, using that alarm, now that everybody's had a moment to think of the beauty and the beautiful friendship that Krishna shares, that's eternal, we really, really hope that everyone can now turn and talk to your neighbor about that moment. Share that moment. And in fact, we can have the youngest of the pair share their moment first. So introduce yourself and just share your story. Let the whole devotee community be united. Everybody literally has to turn.
Okay, we're gonna tell me your story. When it's gonna hit you hard. That's it with the pure devotee.
You can talk.
that way we can move on and share these stories too. Okay. So, Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you for sharing your stories so passionately. If everybody in the back can also hear me, please, thank you. So, now that everybody has shared their stories, we would hope that a couple people, 2 to 3 people, can share their stories with the full devotee community. Please share your stories with the devotee community that we have here today. Just raise your hand and please share your stories. I'm sure we can all hear it and learn from it.
We will have the microphone being passed around to whoever raises their hand.
Does anyone feel brave enough to share their story?
Yes, in the back. Keep your hand raised. Keep your hand raised. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. That was it. Okay. That way.
My wife and I joined the company in the mid-70s. My wife got very, very sick. I was completely bewildered about what to do, how to take care of her, because we also had service to do. So I went before Sri Radha Govinda during the New York Temple and I prayed, please help, I don't know what to do. 2 days later, a natural healer showed up at the temple and said, is there anyone I can help take care of? And so we brought her right to my wife, and for the next 2 months, my wife was taken care of by this natural healer, simply by Krishna's mercy.
Thank you for sharing such a vulnerable story. That was beautiful, actually.
This is a youth, this event. I wanted to just give it about my younger days. My grandma's a great inspiration. She actually taught us in early days, like 4 or 5, that the lower stories and everything. So one question we did ask, people say the Lord listens to you and He actually talks to you. How do you know that? She said, anything you learn to do or try to do it, in your heart, you get a signal. What you're doing, is that right or wrong? That is Krishna talking to you. And if you disobey Him, you know what happens. Then that you have to stay with that guilt, saying that you did something wrong. But that's how it actually talks to each and every one, whether you're a devotee or not. Let me tell you that. Whether you're a devotee or not, the Lord in you will talk to you, saying what you're doing is wrong or right. You'll know yourself. So that is what Krishna is. So.
Thank you so much, Krishna.
Hare Krishna, my name is Hanishi, and the story I wanted to share is that when my great-grandmother died, I was really upset, and Krishna comforted me by saying, it's okay, at the really back of my mind, and he helped me get through that moment.
Can we have some Mataji share as well, please? If you don't mind. Thank you, Mataji.
Like in my childhood, I was maybe 7 or something like that. One day, we do prayer in the morning and the evening, both the times we do Deeparadhana. So I did the normal Deeparadhana that day, and then we went out for playing. We had 4 kids out there in the house. So we went out for playing, and we had a custom we used to get gold rings, the chain, right? They give the gold rings like that. We went out for playing, and I think I lost my gold ring somewhere when playing time. And my dad will come back from office by 7:30 something like that. And I realized that I lost my gold ring. My dad is going to scold me. I'm gone for the day now. And then I ran to the temple. My temple room was in between. There is no windows from the outside. There is only door from that room to this room and this room to like that. I made it. We didn't have electricity. Most of the time, by evening we lose the electricity in that days. So I didn't have electricity also. The deepa, whatever we kept I kept in the garden, that was also it's going to go away very slowly. Very, very few was there, it's going to go away. Then I ran to the garden and then I said, I pray to you a lot, okay? You need to give me my I was such a, my hands were going like this, you know, I found my remedy.
Thank you so much for sharing. Any last two people?
Yes.
In the back.
Two people.
Two people.
Where would you go? Wait, where's it at? I'm lost.
I want to share this when I was working on Teva Pharmaceutical, and we used to go there to make our commercial batch in Lynchburg. So we had to go through a plane which company had its own plane. It is a jet plane, which is 8 passenger, you can sit here. So one time when we were coming from Lynchburg, because at that time the weather was very bad and it was announced that no flight, but somehow that his name was Brian, he is very expert in flying the plane, jet plane.
Yeah.
So he took off from Lynchburg, but in the way, the weather was so bad in New York side, in the thing, the plane literally went down 500 feet, then it turned around like this. So at that time inside, I always carry a small Bhagavad Gita, you know that, you might have seen that in Hindi. So I was reading that. And at that time, that lady, you know, he's a pure director, she hold my hand. So I said that nobody will save this time. If you can take just Krishna, Krishna. Who's this? He said it's just name of a God. So just try. He only can save us because as you worried, I am worried also. Nobody will help here. You know, only God can help, and His name is Krishna. So if you can believe me, everybody. We had 3 Indian which they know and 3 American. They all shouting like Krishna, Krishna. Then the pure director called me in her office, and then I give her the Bhagavad Gita, and I said, please read this book. And I actually in my Teva Pharmaceutical, if you know the Prithvi Patignani here, he was my boss for 8 years. So in each office, in each room, I put Bhagavad Gita. And my office was a member.
Okay, I think we have time for 2 more.
One maybe there and then one maybe
For 2 days ago, I was going to take my daughter from airport at 2 a.m. 1:32 a.m. Chennai airport on Tuesday. I was thinking at that time, Krishna, I was not on that Tuesday, April 2nd, on Baltimore Bridge at 1 a.m. So this is everything, even good moments also we have to think of Krishna, not only. So when I see this, it's not that single time we think of Krishna. Krishna is there with us all the time, good, bad, I believe need anything, whatever you say. So every time think of Krishna as morning, for having a good morning, and new morning, thank Krishna. Because anything can happen during the day, without our knowledge. So this is what I have to say.
Hello, my name is Nikki Kupani. I have true story. One time, in my swimming pool, I lost this much own wearing all the time. So I lost it, and then I was looking all over, I couldn't find it. Then I was going home, and I was saying, my guru, he gave me some mantra, Om Shri Krishna Saranam Nama, Om Shri Krishna. 3 times. I was going home, and there in the hanger, I see it hanging there. I have no idea. I lost it in swimming pool. So I found it.
Okay, if we could have the mic make its way back up to this.
Thank you all for sharing your wonderful responses. Actually, I think from what we heard, it seemed like Krishna had reciprocated, and he reciprocated your prayers, and if you had lost something that you lost, he brought it back because of your sincere prayers in that moment. He comforted in loss or in tragedies, he made sure to keep you safe and give you that protection. He really was just being a friend for all of you in all the moments. And I'm sure we didn't get to hear everyone's, but I'm sure everybody had a moment where Krishna was a friend for them. So let's move on to our final activity. Again, thank you for sharing those. This was really, really beautiful, and I'm sure everybody appreciated it.
So our last activity is going to be a little wrap-up reflection that has to do with gratitude. So in our everyday lives, do you all, I'm going to need a yes or no answer. Do you all thank your friends?
Yes.
Okay. I heard maybe yes. Have we ever thought of thanking Krishna as a friend? So, in that spirit, we are going to be doing an activity. In each and every one of your heads, I would like this sentence to be filled out. Dear Krishna, thank you for being my friend. Bye. And fill it in with your own experiences and your own reflections from this discussion. And then after that, we'll have a few people share. We have time for 2 people to share, so if anybody is compelled to share their sentence with the group.
Dear Krishna.
Dear Krishna, thank you for being my friend by always sending friends every time I needed something.
Dear Krishna, thank you for being my friend even though I'm not always there for you.
If anybody is really compelled to share.
We don't mind. Share the gratitude. Share the love.
Okay, so moving on.
I wanted to thank you all for sharing your lovely moments of gratitude and friendship toward Krishna. But most of all, I wanted to thank you all for participating in this discussion and supporting us along the way. Yeah.
We also want to say thank you to
Gorditai.
Gorditai, of course, thank you.
Shri Shri Gorditai ki jai. Sita Lakshmana Hanuman ji ki jai. Shri Gopalji ki jai.
We also want to say thank you to our teachers and our leaders, to the Haribol Program. Without their guidance and guidance and leadership sanga and in our temple, none of this would be possible. So it's all because of them.
So to end our discussion, we just wanted to ask if anybody has any questions or any reflections that they wanted to share. We would love to hear them. We'd love to hear the questions as well. We might not be as knowledgeable as others that speak here to answer them, but it would definitely be someone else in the audience that can answer. So if anybody has any questions or reflections.
We should do this 2 times a
More.
More of these sessions. We will try.
So that's it for us. We're going to pass it over to Mahi and Shamali. We'll take it over. Back to the announcement.
Let's give another round of applause to our wonderful discussion leaders. The next activity we have to do. Before everyone starts leaving, please just pay attention for like 1 minute. We're trying this new thing out where we're going to have you all have a conversation with each other while you're doing prashadam. So we called it prashadam chit chat or prashadam chit chat. In which we'll be giving out little questions. She has them in a bag, and you'll pick one out, and you need to have a conversation with someone when you sit down to eat your prasadam. So we have a humble request that we don't know how we'll enforce, but we have a very humble request that you sit with someone that's not from your Bhakti Rich. You sit with someone that you don't normally talk to, and you have a conversation with them about one of the questions that we'll give you in the bag. So now we'd like everyone to go outside the prasadam, enjoy your prasadam, and please make sure you have these conversations with people around you.
Yeah, yeah. I don't speak from the last one.